She tilts the bottle toward the light. The liquid inside shimmers, green fire trapped in glass. They said it would make you radiant, stronger, even younger. They said it was life itself, bottled and glowing. They were right, but not in the way they imagined. At the dawn of the 20th century, humankind discovered a new kind of light, one that burned from within. To touch it was to hold a piece of the stars. To drink it, they said, was to steal the power of life itself. And for a while, the world believed. This is the story of the women who trusted the glow and the fight that cost them everything. In 1898, Marie and Pierre Curie isolated a strange element from tons of pitch-blende ore, a speck of matter that glowed in the dark. They called it radium. To them, it was pure wonder, a window into the unseen forces of nature. Marie worked for years among its silent rays, unaware that its beauty was eating away at her bones. Radium fascinated the public. Here was proof that energy lived inside matter itself. Doctors dreamed of curing cancer with invisible rays. Physicists called it a bridge between life and death, a radiant mystery. But for the first time, humanity had found a poison that shone. By the 1910s, radium had escaped the lab and invaded the marketplace. It became the ingredient of the elite, a symbol of progress, vitality, and wealth. Tho-radia cream promised eternal youth. Radioactive, liquid sunshine, claimed to restore virility and strength. Even chocolate, butter, and toothpaste boasted a dash of life energy. Radium wasn't just science, it was a lifestyle. Posters declared, "Radiate health from within." Women bathed in radium spas, men drank radium tonics before breakfast, and every factory, every beauty counter glowed with promise. No one wanted to believe that light could lie. In New Jersey, Illinois, and Connecticut, factories hired young women to paint watch dials with a special luminous paint called Undark. It glowed beautifully in the dark, perfect for soldiers' watches and instruments. The company was called the U.S. Radium Corporation. Their slogan, "The light that never dies." The girls were told it was harmless. They were told to keep their brushes sharp by licking the tips. Lip, dip, paint. Every stroke a tiny dose of death. They laughed as they worked, painting their nails with the glow, dotting teeth for fun. At night, they walked home shining like ghosts, their dresses sparkling with invisible dust. Months later, their smiles began to ache. Teeth loosened, jaws swelled, bones crumbled from the inside. Doctors called it phossy jaw. The truth was far worse. Their bodies had become radioactive. Once inside the body, radium behaves like calcium. It settles in the bones, where it never leaves. Each atom decays, releasing tiny bursts of radiation that shatter cells and fracture marrow. The glow doesn't fade. It burns forever, deep within the skeleton. Their bodies became their tombs, luminous from within. When the lights went out in hospital wards, their bones gave off a faint phosphorescent gleam. One doctor wrote, "Even in death, they shine." The tragedy was invisible, slow, patient, merciless. There was no cure. There was only time and decay. By 1927, dozens of dial painters were dead. The companies denied responsibility, claiming the women had syphilis, not radiation poisoning, but the truth glowed too brightly to hide. 5 women, Catherine Donahue, Grace Fryer, and others, took their fight to court. Their bones were so radioactive they could make a Geiger counter scream. In court, they could barely speak, some carried in on stretchers. The newspapers called them the Radium Girls. They won. Their courage forced safety reforms, medical studies, and radiation limits that still shape workplaces today. They gave their lives, but in doing so, saved thousands more. The glow has faded, but it never truly died. Marie Curie's notebooks are still too radioactive to touch. Radium watches from a century ago still tick in antique shops, and beneath the soil of old factories, the dust still glows faintly in the dark. Radium's half-life is 1,600 years. Its victims have long been buried, but their bones will shine for generations more. We once believed the glow meant life, but it meant death all along. And perhaps that's the cruelest irony of all, that the same light we chased for healing ended up consuming us from within. A reminder of how fragile the human body truly is. But sometimes, against all reason, the body refuses to break.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Lanza Flight 508.
In 1971, a teenager would plunge from the heavens through fire, smoke, and storm and walk out of the jungle alone. Join us next time for a new mini-series and the unbelievable survival of the girl who fell from the sky.
Lanza 508 declaring emergency. Passengers on board, preparing for possible forced descent.